Alright everyone, here is a teardown of one of these brushless DCmotor pedestal fans. If you remember, a couple months ago I made a video of my Avalon pedestal fan without the cover, and you saw the circuit board and the actual motor. Here is one that needed to be parted out because it was missing parts from the beginning. I bought it for parts that are not working, and there's quite a few parts that I can salvage in case if one of my units do break. So let's go ahead and get on with that. So this one already had problems with it from the beginning, but there's many parts that I can salvage from it that was just too good to pass up. So first things first, let's go ahead and just show the main components. So this is the brushless DC motor that actually powers the fan. And as you can probably notice, it looks very much like a regular induction motor until you look on the inside of the motor, and then you realize that's not an AC induction motor at all. It's got the circuit board in the back, little coils in the front. Seems a little stiff. I might have to oil this and see what's going on with this too. I did try this one on one of my other fans, and it's a little bit stiff, so we'll have to examine that later, I'm sure, but shouldn't be much of a problem. It's the back, all the good stuff. Gonna save the best for last. This is the little mount that actually mounts to the back of the motor. Some screws. Essentially, the circuit board sits on top of this. And that's all there is to it with that. Okay, there goes the clock. Anyways. And below that is the separate motor that drives the oscillation. Most of these brushless DC motor fans do use a separate oscillator because some of these fans do go quite slow, and that way it's not really creating any load on the motor, which is always a nice thing. I love these separate oscillation motors on these fans. Just, of course, being more electronics, it's higher to fail, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. So basically coming from the actual control board up to the fan, there's a couple different connectors. What is that? Falls to the floor, yay. So the first one is the actual oscillation motor. And I just left that on there because that's just the oscillation, nothing spectacular to that. The next one, the brown and the blue wire, connect to the actual circuit board, and I'll show you how that works. This actually powers the circuit board. And then this other wire right here actually is the motor connector. So basically how this works on here is, if I just remember the schematic I made in my head. Let's see. So this one here is for the actual motor, and then this one I believe does the power. Yes. Which is pretty cool. That's what the actual circuit board looks like. And ironically, there is actually a fuse on the circuit board. I mean, most of these fans do have a fused cord. Whoops. But there's also an extra level of protection on here. Now, I originally thought that the little 12-hour timer was also on here, and this somehow just kicked power to the actual control board and the motor, but the actual timer is in the base in there. But this is what it just looks like on the inside. It's really cool. That's the back of it, and this one was also made in 2018, so it's interesting. I gotta say, this is quite bizarre. But just in case if you wanted to really see what the top of the unit looks like, with everything all dissected, this is basically where you're at. So not really an educational video, but just something just to film while in quarantine. There you have it. There is basically the inside of one of these brushless DC motor pedestal fans. Thank you so much for watching.